Okay, so let's have a quick look at where we are now. Pretty much finished for the first bash. I need to use this trailer, so I've got things together. We've got the winch on, all the electrics are done. We've got the auxiliary power input-output. We've got the door with the handle and the lock. That is locked now and very secure. As we come down the side here, let me show you. We've got all of our little silver things, all of our lashing points, they're bolted in. Winch and wheel chuck there, I've tested that all works. We've got the ramp supports and stays all finished off, the ramp itself finished off, so that's nice. As we come around the back here, we've got the ramp. You can see I've got a trailer board on there, need a new number plate, but the trailer board's on, so just in case pulling the electrics underneath, and we're good there, ready to roll. Well, good morning everybody. We're back in the barn again today. Now, as some of you will, if you haven't seen already, will figure out pretty quickly because of the pictures I'm going to put up, we took the bike trailer out. I specifically needed to get two things done. My Yamaha shifted and this old girl shifted. The reason being is I need the space in the garage at home. I want to get the Bandit in there. The Kawasaki ZZR 1100's already in there. And this one was outside under an old ripped cover, and she's too good to be treated that way. So it was important, get the trailer done, get these bikes in here before the bad weather happens. So what are we looking at here? Some of you will already know, I'm sure, that this is a Honda 1976, if I remember right, CB500T. Okay, they weren't made for many years. They were developed from the CB450, I believe, the Black Bomber. When they went up to 500 cc's with this engine, don't ask me quite how all this happened, but the hardening of the camshaft surfaces and some of the cam gear wasn't very good. So these engines had a habit, if they weren't maintained very correctly, and good oil changes, in just destroying themselves. When I bought this, it was up for cheap money at the side of the road. What made me like it is, first of all, I think it's got quite a pretty engine when it's all cleaned up. It's an old Honda. You know, they're a nice old bike. They're an icon, old Hondas, I mean, in general, of their age, you know. So for a 70s bike, this is pretty typical. You'll see a bit more detail of some of the nice features on it as we continue. But the idea was, this was going to be my retirement project, tinker with this, get it going and ride it around, you know, as an old boy bike. The trouble is the older I've got, you know, ZX12, ZZR 1100, FJ 1100, that's the sort of thing I ride. Honda CB500, not kind of my bike, but she's still in remarkably good condition for her age, and the fact that she's a barn find, genuine, well, all right, side of the road find. So the idea is, while she's here, give her a bit of a clean up and see if I can get her running. Now, a friend of mine, Mike, and I, we sat down one day just for devilment and decided to see if we could get her running. I set the cam timing as I thought it should be. And when we fired the bike up, it was actually rideable, but it did make a racket. It really did. So I'm guessing one or two things. Either I got the cam timing way out, which is possible, or the cam and the cam followers are destroyed due to just wear and tear. Now, I don't want to open this engine up. Somebody would be quite happy to buy this as an undicked around with example so they can restore it. So that when you start stripping stuff down and getting into that depth, it takes away some of the originality. But we will have a look at the valve timing. Now, when I bought it back, I made the fatal mistake of, oh, sounds like there's a bit of petrol in there. Opened it up. Oh, yeah, there is petrol in there. It's probably about 10, 12 years old. It stinks horrible, old petrol. So we're going to have to drain the fuel. I'm going to check the fuel tap in a minute. I believe what I did was turn the fuel off and ran those carburetors dry. Now, if so, I could almost fill this up with fresh fuel, turn the fuel back on. Yeah, it's going to leak until all the rubbers swell up and everything. But there's a good chance that this could actually fire up and run. It all depends whether I was sensible enough to shut the fuel off and run it dry. So that's where we are. I wasn't actually really planning to do anything to this. I was hoping to sell it. But now I've kind of got it back and looked at the general condition. With an oily rag kind of thing, you know, you could clean this up, get it back on the road, and it would actually be quite good fun for somebody else, all right? I don't really intend to keep it. So that's the job. The other job I've got to do is the front brake system is really, really heavily corroded. The master cylinder's solid. That could be the corrosion around the actual master cylinder operating lever. That could be because the seals are shot. I mean, it's not going to be in that good a condition, is it? Let's be honest. It hasn't run for 15 years probably. So a little bit of work to do on that, or at least get one of the brakes going. So if I do get it running and I want to take it down the farm track, I can, and hopefully not kill myself. So that's the job for today. And once again, might I say, it is really cold in here. But the temperature gauge is reading 10, so it's not too bad, is it? Anyway, enough of my whinging. I'm going to wrap my hands around a cup of brew, and then we're going to crack on with this. So before I go too much further, I've just put a brass brush into the drill. I'm just going to try and clean this up so I can read it. Be careful of the paint if I can. Okay, so reserve off on. Well, the nice news is I probably have been sensible enough to shut the fuel off. So I think what we'll do, get the seat off. Oh, bloody hell, did I bring the key? No. What a knob. Okay, we might struggle, but we'll try and get the seat off, get the tank off. If not, we'll pull this rubber hose and drain this stinky old fuel out and see if I can borrow some of Owen's fuel and get us started. Come on. Well, I had to go at getting the seat up, and I think the only way I'm going to do that would be to damage the seat. I can wait and there you go, pipes loose. I can wait and actually look at that another day. Although it would be handy because obviously I want to put a battery on it. Right, screwdriver. And what I have here is some silicone tubing. It's not really fuel hosey, but it will certainly do the job. It's a good tight fit. We just need a container to drain it in. Yeah, I've got a small jug. Let's give that a go. See if I can... and nothing's coming out. Well, I'm not totally surprised. Okay, so we couldn't get the fuel to drain out through the tap, but there is fuel in there, and it does need to come out. It's horrible. And anyway, we need to drain the tank off to give it a good clean out, because it doesn't look perfect in there, to say the least. So we're going to use our old friendly sucker. You've seen me use this before. Let's see if we can get this out. Maybe there isn't as much as I thought there was. One thing to note, this works by causing a vacuum, sucking the fuel up into the pot and then extinguishing air out of that pot. I'm bringing up petrol. So what's coming out here, the exhaust, is petrol vapour. And petrol vapour is highly inflammable, even petrol this old. I haven't got the compressor turned on. Hopefully got nothing around me that will make a spark. And there is good airflow through this building. So when I finish trying to suck this out, I will get the doors open, give it 10 minutes to clear before I start switching electrical devices on and off. Just makes sense. Thought I should make that point. Right, so one of the problems I can see here is my pipe is curling. It's bloody useless. So I'm going to take a welding rod. Try and work a little bit with the curl of the pipe, might make it easier. So it's quite cold, so my tape might not want to play the game. Certainly won't want to stick onto a petrol covered pipe, but got a few coils on that. This is what happens when the edge of tape reels get damaged, is that it splits right on where that damage on the edge is, especially when things are cold. Cover up that last end, otherwise I'll be sticking it in the eye or something stupid. Right. Let's see if that actually I seem to be into a bit more of a that's better for the short time. You can see we are getting some in the chamber. Just bring this back here. And that up on my little frame. Because what I want to do now is this. Right, okay, I can't hear any fluid moving around. Let me just shut this fuel tap off. And pull that pipe off. Remove these tools. No, I think we got it all. So there wasn't that much in, but there was certainly enough to be a problem. So I'm a bit curious. Whilst we're waiting for the fumes to clear and all. So we've got the old Honda exhaust. Now these are genuine exhausts. And as you can see, they're beautifully shaped. And in reality, these things rotted out along the bottom seams. So the exhaust made in two halves. You've got a seam top and bottom. And that obviously leaves a little V in the bottom of the exhaust. Water would collect in there and they'd rot. Also, the chroming on top is a lot better than down the back. So let's have a look and just have a quick see how these are going to come up. So 1976, what was that? So that'd be 80, 2040, 28 years ago. Sorry, my maths is crap. Not really thinking about maths at the moment. Nice things about bikes like this is the quality of the workmanship. The materials used, for the majority, was pretty good. So like the chromium was that bit thicker, it was nicely done in the beginning. Unlike maybe the hard facing on the cams for this poor body. So in this particular area, we want to be just a little bit more gentle with the chrome. I'm using very fine wire wool here because this is where the majority of the wear would be, where people's feet are landing on it. So the chrome's probably a little bit more scratched up and a little bit more unhappy. Well, I don't know if you can see the difference, folks, but I'm actually well impressed how bits and bobs on this bike clean up. I mean, there's no lacquer on the aluminium anymore. I don't know if you can see that. Let's just nudge you around a little bit. Hopefully you can. I can't speak for all my friends with motorbikes, but for me, something like this is a bit of a squirrel job. And what I mean by that is I'll start doing something like I was cleaning an exhaust and then done a little bit there, tried a little bit there, wipe the tank over. But one of the things that's really annoying me is this front brake locking up. So what we're going to try and do, if I can, oh, that's tight. Okay, so that is snappy tight. That's not just tight. So we've got a couple of bits. 14mm, this is banjo bolt for the fluid. This side, 210mm for the clamp. That's simple. When we get it off, we'll free up back round this way. This 10mm. Now when you pull in the lever, in here, the lever pivots, pushes down onto a piston, that forces brake fluid down to the caliper. This particular unit was used on just about all Hondas, 750s, just everything I think used it. So it's really common, and I'm hoping I can get a set of seals for it. But you never know, a bit squirty, this might come apart, and with it being Honda, probably be perfect, you know. Hondas never seem to die as long as they're given some basics. Could be famous last words. So let's get this undone. Okay, I'll set you up. We'll get the hose done first. And to be honest, folks, I really was very intent on not doing anything to this bike. But you can blame my good friend Mike Rogers for this. Always had a bit of a standing joke. Mike likes this bike, and I've always said to him, yeah, buy it, put another engine in it, or turn it into a chopper or a bobber, you know. But I think it's like a lot of things. We can like things, that doesn't mean to say we necessarily want to get too involved with them. You know, and I think Mike likes the idea, and I'm sure if he had a million, billion, gazillion pounds in his pocket, this would be one of many projects he would endure. So, Mike, I'm going to make a start on this, and then I might get you down here and you can do some of this. Yeah? Show this bike some love. Right. So, got this knot on the bike, it's locking up. Now what we have is a lock plate that holds some kind of a brass pin thing, which I guess is the stop that we might have to remove to get piston out. I don't know if we do or not. So that's that bit there. Right, now we can hold it in the vise. Looks like at some time the mirror stem snapped. I don't know if you can see that too clearly, but there's somebody's drilled a smaller hole in the stem. See if we can't get that out with a little bit of heat and a ease me out. Obviously I don't want to risk the unit because it's actually really nice. It's got the right amount of fade and patina. It's solid aluminium, not plastic one. Really very, very nice bit of kit that. So I don't want to crack this aluminium. But saying that, would equally be nice to be able to put mirrors back on it. Nearly there now. So I didn't want to snap this because, as you can see, there's a thread and a shoulder, you know, and that would just be another specialist part I would have lost, and I would have either had to purchase or put a standard bolt in which wouldn't have had the shoulder, and that's just uncomfortable for me. I don't particularly like bodging stuff up, you know, but it's the kind of thing that possibly you would struggle to get. Probably need to end up having somebody machine me one out of some stainless or something. So I've just taken this piece of plastic out of that back hole, and what that looks like is, as the lever goes in there, this bit pushes on the piston, that bit comes back onto that little bit of plastic, and it acts as a bump stop. But when I look at that, the fact it's bright yellow and it's got threads on it tends to make me think that's a number plate bolt. But why not? Hell, it does the job. Okay, so I'm halfway out with my circlip. I mean, the fact that this isn't rusted solid, I mean the circlip, not the rest of it probably is. It's the circlip, just come out. Now, I might be Billy Daydreams here, but I can get those in and clamp on that rod. Can I pull it out? Okay, that's asking a bit too much. I'm going to take a big gamble. I'm going to try and knock that right the way through. That might have broken. Now, it definitely looks to be coming out. Yeah, almost there. There it is. There is the end. Now, in here, there should be a rubber end cap. And there's the rest of the bits. So we've got spring with the end cap, that seals it all off. Little bits of rubber washer. And that's reusable. Right guys, well here's the old Honda. I mean, this is nowhere near as clean as it needs to be, but I've freed up the back brake, it's kind of working. We've had a bit of a go over the chrome work, and I mean literally a bit of a go. All right, we've put a bit of spit and polish on the paintwork, just used some window cleaner for that, and I think you'll agree that actually, when you look fairly closely, she's starting to look like a proper motorbike. Just pull you back a bit. Let's go. I mean, I'm sorry, the lighting in here is not brilliant, but that's actually not looking bad, is it? You know? Bearing in mind, this is a 1976 motorbike, still got its original wheels and exhausts and all bits and bobs like that, and mudguards. Now obviously, if you look closely at these mudguards, you can see the pitting in the chrome, alright? But keep up with the work and all that pitted chrome just will be okay. But look how clean the fork legs are in comparison, spotless. I put a set of seals on those and that'll run. You know, again, you get close, you can see pitting, but that ain't bad for its age. All right, yep, we've still got a lot of cleaning to do on the engine. Yeah, so that's where we are. So here's our front brake all stripped down. Basically, the master cylinder is in really, really good condition. I'm over the moon about that. So that just needs a seal kit. I've put the arm into the vise, hit it with a map gas, straightened that. You know, I mean, sometimes I get a seal kit for it, you know? That's a beautiful thing. I didn't get the strip screw out. We'll probably set that up in the drill with a milling bit and try and take that out. Don't know how successful that'll be, but we'll do our best. So that's where we are today. We've had a damn good clean up. Front brakes stripped and ready. Well, the front brake master. Rear brakes all allowing me to move the bike about. Lots of cleaning, lots of checking over. We're in a good place. I think that's it.